to do like that, but also in all this kind of but also in all this kind of
I see what you're saying. I do want to say, like, I want to make sure we're not being a friend for marriage. Sure we're not being a friend of the most successful food is marriage. Sure we're not being a friend of the most successful food is marriage.
I see what you're saying. You're saying,
you know, I had one on this line getting, you know, I had one on this line that comes with
For a while. You better. And this is where I put my cross there. I do put my cross there. I do put my cross there. I do with this. I mean, like, theology, information.
septic, and then you have septic ministry for tonight, and then you have like it. And septic ministry for tonight, and then you have.
There's also an parent.
Funny is, I mean, I just think like you're I heard her on version of like these. I heard her on version of like these and I don't think you're really hard.
Good morning. I discovered that you can like fill StreamYard with all kinds of like noises. So it's gonna be a problem. It's gonna be a real problem. There's a couple things I wanted to cover this morning before we get to the main thing. But first,
I see the assassins have failed. I am
Ethan Kahi, and have we got a show for you? I just saw this morning, but we should start here because maybe you didn't see this. I don't know how you could see this. It came out 4 hours ago. It came out at midnight, 12:38, 12:00 p.m. midnight. So let's get this screen shared. Build or think? ? I had to choose. Folks, we have the return of none other than Christian Baxter. And you might think it's just a motorcycle video, but there is a monologue hidden at about 25%. And it's one heck of a monologue.
My channel was always supposed to be yours truly, not podcast, not just me. In the world, not trying to, hobby, really. And podcast was fun. It's like, oh, I can podcast as a hobby. And it got to the point where I was gonna have to make a decision to like push to higher levels to keep the momentum going, and I don't think I'm interested. And if I am, it's a part of me that I'm not interested in cultivating, I guess. Yeah. And it was right around the same time I was able to get my bike fixed and reconnect with a online community that's centered around this bike, PW200 Yamaha.
Well, there's a little bit of wind in there, but I thought it was really interesting that CBAX is going like, I don't know about this podcast thing. I just want to ride my bike around. You know, it's kind of stealing the thunder over here from our boy Scott. But there's this interesting thing happening. YouTube, I hate you so much, YouTube. I hate you so much. Yeah, delete my comments again, YouTube. I hate you so much, YouTube. I just want the channel. Just show me the channel. Look at Scott. There's Scott. You know, like CBAX disappears, comes back and goes like, I'm a motorcycle channel now. Then we got Scott over here. And Scott's like, look at my garage door. And, you know, some people did look at his garage door, and apparently Ezra has an affinity for garage doors. And Scott's got a good garage door, according to Ezra.
Oh. Whoa, what was that? An owl? Whoa! Did that ballast just shaft? Shells is flying my head red. Look at it go! Hey, little guy, you're prancing all over. This is the coolest thing ever. Flying off the shelf? Hoot hoot! Now it's prancing on my head. This is incredible. This is the coolest thing ever.
Okay, we need to do a poem. Pseudo Risto commented about Gerard Manley Hopkins, and I had heard the name before, but I didn't know anything about him. And then Pseudo Risto recommended 2 different poems, and so I'm going to read a Gerard Manley Hopkins poem. The title of this is, well, the title is the first line, so it's really untitled. I wake and feel the fell of dark, not day. What hours, oh, what black hours we have spent this night. What sights you, heart, saw, ways you went, and more must in yet longer light's delay. With witness I speak this, but where I say hours, I mean years, mean life. And my lament is cries, countless, cries like dead letters sent to dearest him that lives, alas, away. I am gall, I am heartburn, God's most deep decree, bitter would have me taste. My taste was me. Bones built in me, flesh filled, blood brimmed the curse. Self yeast of spirit, a dull dough sours. I see the lost are like this, and their scourge to be, as I am mine, their sweating selves, but worse. You know, normally I don't stream on Fridays, but there were 2 things that happened yesterday where I went, now I want to stream. Maybe I'm addicted to streaming, so don't worry, CBAX. There's still addicts in the TLC, but it's just me now. It's just me. I'm addicted to streaming. I can't stop. Where's that video? I gotta play that video. Where's the video? I know I have. Here it is. Here's the video. This is the video. This is what you need to see.
My Dinner with Andre.
My Dinner with Andre?
A Dinner with Andre.
My Dinner with Andre.
Those are the kind of movies I generally like. I like other kinds of movies too.
It's just this crazy conversation.
There's that great scene where Andre Gregory is talking to Wallace Shawn, and he says, you know, we have to wonder if such a thing as a human person will still be a thing in the future.
See, I think it's quite possible that the 1960s represented the last burst of the human being before he was extinguished. And that this is the beginning of the rest of the future now, that from now on there'll simply be all these robots walking around, feeling nothing, thinking nothing.
I finished A Dinner with Andre the same night that he watched it, and so it's one of those things that pops up, you know? All of a sudden there's these weird resonances, and there's these weird serendipities.
Well, why do you think that is? I mean, why is that? I mean, is it just because people are lazy today, or they're bored? I mean, are we just like bored, spoiled children who've just been lying in the bathtub all day, just playing with their plastic duck, and now they're just thinking, well, what can I do?
Have you seen that?
No.
So that's going to be this next Thursday at 8 p.m. Central. And the channel's down below, rolling around at Ezra G.O. Brett is making puking face emojis in the chat room, so apparently he does not like My Dinner with Andre. I started it last night. My wife Jane and I did. And about 10 minutes in, right around the first Ingmar Bergman. Is it Ingmar? Ingman? Ingmar. Bergman. Ingmar? That's definitely Bergman. It might be Ing something else, but it's definitely Bergman. Ingmar Bergman. Right around the first Ingmar Bergman reference, my wife was like, is this going to be one of those pretentious art films? And I was like, no. So I got to watch on my own now. So, but I'm really into it. It was great. 10 minutes in, I'm all about it. They just ordered food. And there was a great little menu scene. So I'm gonna have to finish it on my own. Okay, well, we'll do this. So there's this really, really great conversation on the Chris Howard channel that I don't know, it like deeply affected me. I couldn't stop thinking about it. And then it was like, well, now I want to stream about it. And yeah, that's like an interesting thing. It's like, what am I doing streaming? What does it mean to stream? And I don't mean this in like a navel gazing sense. I mean, I really mean it in like a legitimate practical, like it's 4:47 a.m. Why am I standing in my parents' basement in front of Chris Howard named the elk Buddy the Elk? You know, like, why is there someone on the internet that's like naming the elk behind me? And now I'm telling you, like, hey, this elk's name is Buddy now. This is Buddy the Elk. And so there's some sense where it's like, well, I had this hour and I didn't really do much in the hour. So like now I'm doing this in the hour and this is something to do, and it produces something. Am I producing value? Is this valuable? Is it important that you know that Christian Baxter has a monologue and it starts in about 8 minutes? Well, I don't know. You know, and CBAX is talking about like, I want to do more stuff. I want to be in the real world more. Like, are you stuck on the internet? Like, if I tell you that there's people out there that are doing things in the real world, does that like help you do more things in the real world? Like, is this helpful? Or is this a little further on? CPEC just goes, yeah, I was just sick of mentally masturbating. It's like, oh gosh, is that what I'm doing right now? Is this mental masturbation? I'm not sure. I don't think what happened yesterday on the Chris Howard Show is any of that. What happened yesterday on the Chris Howard Show feels like more real than what I'm doing right now. You know, some of that is because like Chris and Chad, I don't know how long they've known each other, but like a couple of years. I believe it's a couple of years. And so like what happens when you talk to the same person not every morning, but many mornings across a couple of years, like digital or otherwise, like the talking is real. And we go like, oh, the internet's not really real. But it's like, oh, I mean, I can't hold the internet. I can't cradle the internet. But it has a very real effect on me. Let's get into it.
Yeah, right. I think even though we're very suspicious of a lot of stuff, yada yada, but like the idea that how is it that so many of us have been duped into thinking that religious institutions are evil? You know, and because that's what I thought. You know, I thought like there's certainly something wrong with them, and there's certainly something wrong with bigotry and those who are against homosexuals and those who are, and obviously abortion is like a moral good, and like those are things that I knew to be true, and I don't know how I got there. And so I think about that, and this is related to Peterson's, you know, each of us would probably be the Nazi, blah, 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 all this kind of stuff. So trust, I think, is probably very foundational.
Yeah. I think so.
Not suspicion, even though, because you can't have one without the other, I guess, you know, like, I don't know.
You know, Chad starts with like, how did so many of us get duped? And I was thinking about my own life. Like, I also wonder if there will be a day where I stop thinking about this year, the year when I was 25 years old and like walked away from being employed in a church and a very secure future. I didn't have the feeling of being duped. Morning, Chad. I'm covering your conversation from yesterday because I thought it was really, 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 really interesting. So, yeah, that's what I'm doing. I didn't have the feeling of being duped, but like when I left church, it was like every decision I had made went through like my worldview of, it was basically Baptist. I didn't know how to make decisions anymore. I mean, like genuinely, like my understanding of what the world was it was created by God, and I was like, I don't believe in God anymore. So how did the world come to be? And like I had just like plugged my ears in science class when I talked about evolution or the Big Bang or any of those things. So I was like, that's bullshit. I ain't listening. Even as like a high schooler, I was like, no, I'm not going to do that. You know, that came from my household and then my like greater culture. But then it was like, okay, so how do you navigate a world now? So it's like, well, I guess I need to learn some science because I didn't listen to science class. And I don't know how I got here. And then it's like, I mean, this is something that TLC goes around a lot, but like, well, what is good? How do you behave well? You know, like I still wanted to be a good person, but I no longer could define good. And I couldn't even define person. It was funny. I think Chad had already mentioned, speaking of Chad, I think you mentioned abortion pretty early on, Chad, and it was interesting because I was like thinking about how when I stopped believing in souls, then I was like, I think my position on abortion has changed because I was like, there's no soul. So, and for me, then like when I came back to faith a year ago, it was like, I believe in souls again. Oh, this changes things. How are you?
What do you mean you believed in souls?
I mean, like, when I stopped going to church and stopped working in a church, I stopped believing in God and I stopped believing that humans had souls. And I just believed that humans were just matter. And then I was okay with abortion and was like, oh yeah, I think that's my political position, is like when there's a heartbeat, the heartbeat is when life begins. And so then when I came back to faith, I was like, I believe that humans have a soul, and I don't know exactly what a soul is, but like, I don't know when a soul comes, but it might be before a heartbeat. So I care about souls now. So I care about unborn children in a way that I didn't.
Interesting. So what did you believe in when you stopped believing in souls?
What did I believe? I mean, because that takes us into trust, right? Like, what did I trust in?
Yeah.
I mean, so I ran away from Wisconsin and went to Los Angeles with 4 guys from the Midwest. And I hadn't lost my faith fully yet. Because I'd already been kind of playing in the emergent church / like deconstruction stuff when I was on staff at the church, like secretly writing blog posts, because I would have gotten in trouble if anyone had known that I was like engaging. And so that held me for a while, where it was like, I can be a Christian and I can, there was a book I'd read by Marcus Borg, that the end of it is like, the resurrection of Jesus is, you don't need to believe it's physical. It's all just spiritual ego death. And I was like, this is enough. Like this, I can still follow Christ and just have it be an example for spiritual ego death, and can continue to participate in the Christian story.
Yeah.
But
I don't even like the word ego.
I don't know what it means. I have no idea what it means.
Yeah, it's interesting how ego is kind of like made its way into our lexicon, and kind of like this what's the word I'm thinking of? Our landscape of presuppositions as a culture.
What does that word mean?
It's thrown around a lot.
I still don't know
what word?
Presupposition. I still don't know what the word means.
My understanding of it is like my assumptions, or my presets, basically, on what I believe is real, or something like that. You know, like it's like a presupposition is well, maybe one that I have is kind of like, I'm going to go to work today and put in 8 hours. And I suppose that's already like, I don't know, maybe I'm thinking about that wrong. I'm a midwit, so don't ask me.
I dropped out of college twice, so
I didn't even look at a college.
Fine, you win. I didn't even look at a college.
But I mean, yeah. So ego is, especially like in recovery communities, it's a thing that kind of like is a word that's kind of like brought out often to, we use to like examine, your motives or something. It's really interesting. It's like, I guess it's like a lot of these words, like the word mental. Like if you look at kind of the etymology of that word, it's actually had to do with the spirit. So like all these words are downstream. These scientific words are kind of downstream of spiritual, what do they call that? Metaphysics or something. So like ego is one of those ones where we have these words that we replace these other words that we are kind of like have resentments against, or something, so we can reframe how we think about the world or something. I don't know. I don't even know why I'm talking. Why am I talking?
Well, no, when I read Jung Jung was the last thing I read before I came back to Christ. And it was mind-blowing to me that he was creating language for spiritual experience, and like so much of his like scientific technical language, and like he knew what he was doing. He wasn't trying to deceive people. I don't think that's not how I read him at all. But like we took his language as if like the thing he was describing like exists separate from the history that he had read. So it's like we have psychology, and it's like, well, what is that? Well, psyche is like soul, but like we don't want to talk about souls. Like souls aren't real, but go to the psychologist and they're going to help you with your psyche, but your psyche is not your soul. Like don't look at the etymology. And it's like it's all simulation. It really is like.
Yeah, that's interesting thinking about. Well, you even said, Jung's scientific language or something. Like, they didn't even, like, what was that? You know what I mean? So, like they didn't have, like, when we say those things. So, okay, I know that, here's how I feel. I have a sense that human beings are not only meant to believe, are made to believe, but they're made to, and what I mean by that is like they're made to kind of like know, or something like this. Like because when we say something like Jung's scientific language, what you're saying is this thing that we assume is fact or like concrete. And I mean, like, the Jung's scientific language would be like if somebody someday decided to make, Paul Vanderklay's Paul Vanderklay's language around God number one, God number two into scientific models that are fact, right?
Or not even scientific, just like spiritual models to be like there are two gods.
Right, but like what they would say is because it's in the realm of the science, now that is a scientific term. You see what I mean? And so therefore it is a factual term. And so like I don't even think that Jung was a scientist. I don't know. I don't really know.
He studied like medicine and like was like old school doctor. So like very, very serious scientist in his youth, like clinician, medicine. Yeah, he was into science. He was.
Okay.
One of his he wanted to bridge science and religion. Unfortunately, everyone just took his words rather than bridging them. They just replaced religion with science using his terminology, which I think he would find incredibly depressing to know what has been done with his words.
Well, that's one of the points I'm trying to drive home here is that, like, we're not only, I don't even think it's like necessarily just instinctual to believe. It's instinctual to shape these structures of knowing and to live by those. So it's the similar concept, but like once you have some like these kind of structures of knowing or understanding, or they become a part of the way that you know the world. And I wish I could really get at the bottom of what I'm trying to say here. because it would be the most natural thing in the world, I think, for us to take a word like ego or something, and then all of a sudden someday just be walking by faith that ego is in fact a true thing in the world, that is some structure, psychological structure that is not only is it a metaphor and a model for a particular concept or metaphysic, but it is an actual item in reality, something like, you know what I mean? I'm rambling now, son of a bitch.
Well, okay, but here's the thing. So when I stopped trusting in emergent Christianity, when that failed, because it started to become woke and political, and I was like, I'm not in on this stuff. If this emergent thing just takes me there, like, I got to step out of this too. So I stepped out, and then I had nothing. I had nothing to trust in. I didn't know what was real. I didn't know what could be trusted. And then I essentially just kind of like circled suicide for a while. Because it was like, well, then why am I going to live? How am I going to keep on living? And I would say it was I put my own death on the table and just kind of like stared at it, which I kind of think like that's partially what Hamlet is about. And it was like, I needed to consider the possibility of not existing in order to decide whether or not continuing to exist was worth doing. And I considered it seriously. And I don't know why I decided to keep on living, I guess. I'm really not sure. I mean, it might have just been that there were many people praying for me because I was in the faith and now I was not in the faith, and people were concerned about me for a variety of reasons, rightfully so. And like the prayers of others might have kept me alive. I'm not sure. And then I said, okay, well, I'm going to live. And so now I have to figure out how to live. And then I just started reading like all literature and science and like kind of like just like the canon. I just read like anything that I thought was like one of the great books. I just started reading that. And that then kind of became a Bible for me. And I'd always liked reading. And then I slowly just like took bits and pieces of like what I thought was like the best science or the best arguments over here for this thing. I never joined like atheism or humanism. Like I just kind of, I mean, I really wandered. Like I moved around the country. I worked basically jobs that sucked, and I just followed my own curiosity, I guess. Yeah, I slowly built, and then it was like, I was also like testing the inputs of my life. So I started running, and I started lifting, and in some sense, like the exercise stuff really, really saved me, because it was like the way I would feel after like lifting heavy with the blood pumping was like the best feeling I would feel all day, because most of my life I really didn't enjoy at all. But I was like, this feeling is so nice. And I was like slowly watching my body like take a shape that was more enjoyable to see in the mirror. And I was like, okay, well, this is nice. Like I can transform and then like look nicer. I can get attention from people, and that's nice. And that never got out of control for me. But then I kind of wanted to be healthy. And so I tried to figure out like what is healthy. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. I was thinking, I don't know, my internet's a little goofy, so I don't know if I'm really working out over here or not. Not working out, but like, I don't know if my internet connection is working. But I never really went down the road of improving my mental health by means of physical exercise or something like that. So I don't really know, but it sounds very karmic, you know. It's like, is math karma? It's like, if I lift 100 pounds 10 times, do I get better feel goods? And so I don't know.
Yes. It's not karma, it's compounded interest.
Right. And so, like, my dad tried to tell me that he tried to convince me that I should be working out because it will make me feel better and that I could live longer and all this stuff. And I just don't buy it, to be honest. I just don't. Because, I mean, there are so many stories you can hear of people who live like really pristine, healthy lives, and they pursue, exercise and all that, eating healthy and all those different things, and they just drop dead for no reason. And so I'm not convinced by these kinds of stories, and I wish I was, because it's not enough. Like, I need to come from a different place, and to be able to, or in order for me to buy into the physical, the game of exercise, it can't be, for me anyways, it can't be so that I live longer and healthier or something. It can't seem to me that it has to be something else that would motivate me. It has to be something like because I like to do it or something. You know what I mean? And a friend of mine yesterday was talking about quitting smoking because the doctor is telling him that he's got bad heart and he just has a stent put in. And he was like, "How did you quit?" And I was like, "I don't know. I have no idea." And he's like, "Well, I mean, well, how did you do it?" I'm like, "I don't know. I loved smoking. I smoked since I was 11 years old, and I haven't had a cigarette in 2 years, and I don't know, a year and a half. I haven't had a cigarette in about a year and a half." And I said, "I don't know. I just, one day, I made a promise to Ann that I wouldn't smoke anymore. And once the decision was made, I had to kind of lean into my I found that if I leaned into my prayer life and things like that, and when I was in prayer, I'm not asking God to keep me away from a cigarette or anything. I'm just doing the Lord's Prayer and different prayers like this in from a position of gratitude that I can actually pray. So being thankful that I'm willing to pray, and thank you, God, for giving me this perspective that I can try to humble myself and say thank you. But I wasn't asking God to keep me away from a cigarette, So I don't know. I'm destroying your show this morning. I'm really sorry. I should have just stayed off.
No. Yeah, I mean, okay, so I'm going to attempt the best argument I can make for physical exercise.
Don't try to convince me, because I won't buy it. But go ahead.
Well, yeah, but I want to hear why you don't buy this.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we're having a non-debate.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you know what? We should probably set the stage for a non-debate. One sec. Let's drop this down and let's get.
I'll tell you right now why I don't buy it.
You haven't even heard the argument yet. You
I'll
don't
tell you
even
right
know
now
what I'm
why.
going to say.
But
Okay,
I'll
fine.
tell you why.
You're going to help me. You're giving me ammunition. Tell me why.
Yeah.
Tell me why. Load my gun.
Because I don't want to buy it.
Yeah, well, that's literally what I was trained to do. I'm an ad man. I'm trained to make you to want something.
Good luck.
Like the whole point is that like you don't want to buy the things in the store, and then the ad men figured out how to psychologically break you so that you buy the things in the store. Like that's the only reason I'm on the internet. I'm just here for mind control, man.
Yeah, but that'll work for somebody else.
I mean, I essentially think the human being is composed of like a body, a mind, and a soul, and that there's like a threeness to us, and that like a mental sickness seeps into the body and into the soul, and a soul sickness seeps into the mind and into the body, and a body sickness seeps into the mind and into the soul, and your whole person can become sick, and that like there are different things you can do to like tend the garden of your soul, or what's another metaphor for cleaning something? Clean the room of your mind, or pick up the toys in the yard of your body. Okay, this is going off the rails quick. And so like exercise is like being a good steward of your body. Like that would be the argument, is that like God has gifted us with bodies, minds, and souls, and that like part of what it means to like follow Jesus is to be a good steward of the gifts we are given. And so like our body is a gift, and we have these like little cells that have mitochondria in them, and there are things that we eat and consume that make our little mitochondria sick, and we should care for our mitochondria because they were given to us as a gift. And so that's why like there's certain kinds of food that like care for our mitochondria better. And like the hope is that we would be the kind of person that stewards our bodies and minds and souls well. And that then helps us to like help other people. Cause like if I'm sick, it's really hard for me to like help another sick person if I'm like hacking up a lung. And then like you would hope that you'd be able to get into a job that stewards you well, because like you're the little mitochondria in the corporation. And so it's like the fractal chain of subsidiarity. And then like, what does it mean to be kind to your body? Exercise. What does it mean to be kind to your soul? It's like, get that soul connected to God, the great being. Like pray. What does it mean to be kind to your mind? The mind one is the one I trip up on the most. I don't know how to care for the rational side of me. The soul and the body are easier for me. But that's essentially that's the argument.
Okay.
You want to rate it on a scale from 0 to 10?
It depends on who you are. You know, like I understand the logic behind it, you know. Oh, is my thing frozen, bro?
Are you touching your ear right now?
No, I'm on my chin, but you can hear me.
Yeah, I can hear it. Yeah, no, you're definitely frozen.
Okay, so
yeah,
it's
but I can hear
a hearing thing. Okay. Well, I don't know so I'm not saying that exercise is like a no-go for people or anything like that. I know at some point, if I'm going to want to have less pain in my body, if I'm going to want to probably be position myself to be able to have a less hindered body, it would probably be helpful if I did some form of physical exercise. I understand that. And to probably eat healthier or be more conscious of the things that I eat and volume that I eat and all that things. And I want to be a good example for my daughter. I want to be around all those things. I understand that. I'm not saying that exercise is like, but I'm a child of authenticity, and I find it very difficult to be motivated by ads, partly because of the whole duped thing, where my whole life I just was consuming different ideas and ideals, and finding that they weren't the solution to my problems, and so like I think my body is, for the most part, healthier than it's ever been.
Praise the Lord.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, and again, and literally praise the Lord, because like I don't know how I'm not drinking or smoking on a regular basis, and not only not on a regular basis, but like not at all. I would like to have a healthier position when what I mean by position is like a stance, a healthier stance when it comes to eating, right? Because I love to eat. I like flavors. I think I like the concept of soul food, like,
yeah.
I like the idea of like having good tasting food with friends. I like that idea a lot. I think that's very healthy for a lot of reasons. So to cut out certain foods and stuff like that, like to have a real like a rigorous diet or something, it just wouldn't be me, basically. And so until it's made apparent to me that needs to be me, which is possible, because like that's how it happened with the smoking. I would have, if you would have told me 2 years ago that I wouldn't be smoking, I would have thought that you're insane, right? But it was made apparent that it will be me. So taste is over.
Two questions. The first one's really fast.
Yeah.
I have one of your old poems, Proclamations Made.
Yeah.
Does it bother you that I have it? Does it bother you that I have it? Okay, cool.
No, I wouldn't.
Well, I've been stealing things. Like I stole a bunch of McMoe's branding. I stole some stuff from Grimm. I stole some stuff from you. So you're here. So I just figured like I should let you know that I stole from you and just ask you if you.
Oh, I know you did. This whole Trinity thing here that you have, these birds, you stole that from me.
Well, no. I stole one bird. I stole one bird. And then I duplicated the bird into a Trinity. Yeah. And then I stole the bubble, but then I duplicated the bubble. And then I took Sharpie and I Sharpied it and I hid some things in the birds. But they're pretty small. But if you pay attention really carefully, there's things that are hidden. But so there was a part yesterday when you were talking with Chris and Scott that I wanted to get to that we didn't get to, and we have 7 minutes.
Go ahead, get to it. Sorry, I shouldn't have came in here.
No. I don't know where it is. I didn't have a timestamp. I only had the first timestamp. But so I'm going to ask you because it came from you, because you were talking about trust, and we kind of talked about that. But then you talked about like what I was hearing. You didn't use these words. What I was hearing you talk about was like, is it possible that there are spirits that capture us? And it almost sounded you were talking about like narratives as spirit vehicles or stories that override reality. I don't know. Does any of that click at all?
Yeah.
And I was just curious if you're still thinking about that today, because I've been thinking about it since yesterday based on what you said.
Yeah, these kinds of things are always in my mind. So like memory, narrative, both of those things are very tightly wound together. And so memory and narrative, and let's say background and foreground. All those things are all kind of like those plus the relationships we have with not only people but ideas and institutions. All those things are all like, yeah, basically consciousness. So yeah, I think here's a way of thinking about it. I think that consciousness is a miracle, and if consciousness is a miracle, then that means anything that interacts with it is essentially spiritual, and possibly more real than anything that you can measure. And something that you can measure is basically second level understanding. So first tier understanding is like consciousness, I guess. I don't know what I'm saying. I know what I'm saying. It's hard to talk about these things because the way you lay them out, the way that I talk about it has to kind of, it's a linear map, but it doesn't really, I'm only using a linear map to kind of like lay out what it is that I see.
Can I tell you what I don't buy, and maybe I'm not hearing you right?
Yeah.
So, and I might be hearing you wrong, right? But it sounds like there's a primacy, like the spirit stuff is more important, and the matter stuff is just like a happenstance. And I don't know if you're saying that or not.
No.
Okay.
I'm not saying that. I'm saying that spirit is everything.
Yeah. Like that for me, that's Genesis 1:1. Like God created the heavens and the earth, and it's like everything around us is spirit and matter.
Yeah, the heavens and the earth. When we say like in the Lord's Prayer, on earth as it is in heaven, that heaven bit I think is something that's like, I guess if you had to kind of point to it, it'd be something that's in my heart. Like the highest thing that I can possibly imagine.
Are you doing a PVK right now? Religion is what you hold highest, so hold heaven highest.
No, like when I look at my daughter and watch like her wonder and how she is in love with the world, I like there's this overwhelming feeling that I have, a knowing that I have that is higher than anything that I can possibly imagine, or I'm sorry, possibly measure, and that highest thing is the heaven that's with that I hope to on earth as it is in heaven. So how do I live that is what I'm saying. Like how do I continue to try to live so that what is in heaven can be brought on earth somehow, because I'm not saying that I'm not talking from like I'm not talking about humanism or anything like that. That's not what I'm saying. It's like this thing that this love, agape, this infinite thing that I get to experience and have a knowing, which again, all that's kind of consciousness. Good grief. I don't know how to. So that's what I mean. I think when we talk about, when I say everything is spiritual, the spiritual is the highest. Because without that, I can't perceive the concrete or anything. Yeah, material is not bad.
So how do you make earth more like heaven? How do you bring heaven to earth? Like that's the question, right? Like
how do you bring into on earth what is in heaven? Don't make it worse. But it's maybe something like humility. I don't know.
All right, we're out of time. Chris Howard's about to start.
Sorry if I slowed things down.
Do not say sorry. I don't want to hear it. This was wonderful. It's always good to see you, both from profile to profile, but also like from the voice of Ethan Kahi to the ears of Chad. Like, genuinely, this was great. I'm glad we got to hang out. Thanks for letting me pester you with questions.
Your comments are turned off on your exploring your voice video, by the way.
So yeah, I saw that just before I went live. I didn't do that. A couple times this has happened on
No,
live streams.
it happens sometimes. Yeah. You have to go back in your settings and reset it.
Like, will it bring the comments back? Or they're all gone now?
Yeah, you have to go back into edit and no, they're still there. You just have to re-enable the comments.
Okay. Yeah, I will.
Chris is going on.
He's going on. Yeah. Hey, Zep, can you email me? My email is in my channel description because we're both going to Symbolic World, and it'd be great to connect before that. Please email me, Zep. Yeah, I'm going to do the Ezra movie night thing to end this stream, and Chad will... well, I'm not going to boot you, but yeah. Where is it?
My Dinner with Andre.
I'm telling them, not you.
The Dinner with Andre.
My Dinner with Andre.
Those are the kind of movies I generally like. I like other kinds of movies too.
It's just this crazy conversation.
There's that great scene where Andre Gregory is talking to Wallace Shawn, and he says, you know, we have to wonder if such a thing as a human person will still be a thing in the future.
See, I think it's quite possible that the 1960s represented the last burst of the human being before he was extinguished, and that this is the beginning of the rest of the future now, that from now on there'll simply be all these robots walking around, feeling nothing, thinking nothing.
I finished A Dinner with Andre the same night that he watched it, and so it's one of those things that pops up, you know? All of a sudden there's these weird resonances, and there's these weird serendipities.
Well, why do you think that is? I mean, why is that? I mean, is it just because people are lazy today or they're bored? I mean, are we just like bored, spoiled children who've just been lying in the bathtub all day, just playing with their plastic duck, and now they're just thinking, well, what can I do?
Have you seen that?
No. I see the assassins have failed. I am